Okay, let's just jump right in. If you've been trying to keep up with the Indianapolis real estate market, you might be scratching your head right now. I mean, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Honestly, the data seems to be screaming both at the same time. So today, we're going to untangle this thing. We're going to break down this really unique moment and explain why this might just be the perfect time for, well, pretty much everyone. First, let's pull back and look at the big picture. A recent report from CNBC just dropped a bombshell. Across the entire country, we are in the strongest buyer's market in over 10 years. Nationally, the number of sellers is outpacing buyers by the biggest margin since 2013. Now, that sets the stage for what we're seeing, but believe me, Indianapolis has its own story to tell. And that right there, that's the big question, isn't it? If buyers finally have the upper hand after years of just brutal competition, how on earth could it also be a great time to sell your home? It just doesn't seem to add up. But you know what? The data suggests we're in this rare Goldilocks window. Let's break down both sides of this coin, starting with the buyers. So, what's giving buyers all this newfound leverage? Well, it really boils down to a few key numbers that have totally flipped the script from what we've seen over the last few years. This is the big one. Active listings in Indianapolis are up a staggering 27% year over year. What does that actually mean for you if you're out there looking? It means choice. Plain and simple. Instead of duking it out over one or two homes, you might now have 10 or 12 to look at. That is a massive, massive shift. And here's a key metric that the pros are always watching: months of supply. It basically just tells us how long it would take to sell every single home on the market right now. And that number, well, it's doubled, hitting a 6-year high. This is a huge sign that the market is rebalancing in a big way, moving away from that frantic seller's market we all remember. Hey, remember when asking for the seller to fix something or help with closing costs was basically a guaranteed way to lose the house? Yeah, well, those days are over, for now. According to our source, local expert Cara Conde, the average seller credit on her recent deals is $8,700. Sellers are actually negotiating again, helping buyers cover everything from repairs to buying down their interest rate. And here's the real fuel for that buyer fire: interest rates. The local 30-year fixed rate has been dropping, sitting here at 6.31%. Every little half-point drop can literally save a buyer hundreds of dollars a month, which makes owning a home way more affordable than it was just a few months back. So this chart just lays it all out perfectly. It shows the big dilemma for buyers. Do you act now or do you wait? Look at this. Right now in November, you've got way more inventory and tons of sellers willing to cut prices. But if you wait until the spring rush in March, well, the projection shows tighter inventory, way more competition, less time to decide, and a higher effective interest rate. The bottom line is, waiting could really cost you. Okay, that all sounds fantastic for buyers, but it brings up a really obvious question. If you're a homeowner, why in the world would you choose to sell in these conditions? So let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this whole story. And this is where the story gets really, really interesting. Because despite all those advantages for buyers, our source material makes a really compelling case that sellers who decide to act now are in a surprisingly powerful position. 48%. Just let that number sink in. That's the average equity gain for an Indianapolis homeowner since just 2020. I mean, even with the market cooling off just a little bit, homeowners are sitting on a massive pile of equity. That gives them incredible flexibility and profit potential when they go to sell. And this shows a fascinating split happening in the market. Sure, the average home might be sitting on the market for 42 days, but according to this source, Cara Conde's recent listings, the ones that are priced correctly from the start, are on the market for an average of just over 9 days. And get this, they're selling for over the list price. This just proves that for smart sellers, the demand is absolutely 100% still there. So for sellers, it all comes down to strategy. Right now, buyers actually outnumber the available listings. But if you wait until March, you could be looking at 60 to 70% more competition from other sellers flooding the market. And with those falling rates bringing move-up buyers back into the game, listing now puts you way ahead of that curve. So how do we make sense of this? How can it be a good market for buyers and a good market for sellers at the exact same time? To really get it, let's look directly at the perspective from the expert whose analysis this is all based on. This is the big one, right? The elephant in the room. This is the fear that's holding a lot of people back. With all this talk about a shifting market, is a crash coming? It's a question that buyers and sellers are both asking themselves. Well, the expert's forecast is crystal clear. No crash. Instead, the prediction is for steady, sustainable growth of 2 to 4%. And here's the warning. Waiting for a crash that just isn't coming could mean you end up paying significantly more for a home in just a couple of years. So, if the market isn't going to crash, what's the biggest mistake a buyer could make in this exact moment? Wow, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? Our source shares this story about a client who hesitated, just holding out for a slightly better interest rate, and they lost their perfect dream home on Geist Reservoir. It is such a powerful reminder that trying to time the market perfectly is pretty much impossible, and hesitating can have very real and very painful costs. So when you put all this data and analysis together, it really points to one big conclusion. We are in a unique and probably temporary window of opportunity. It's a moment where the market dynamics are somehow creating wins on both sides of the deal. And look, this isn't just theory. Check out these real-life closing examples from just the last couple of months. In Fishers, a buyer got a fantastic deal under the list price, plus got huge concessions from the seller. But then, in Carmel, a seller got 4 all-cash offers and sold for $15,000 over asking in just 4 days. And then get this, in Avon, a new build buyer got massive builder incentives. It shows it's not just a buyer's market or a seller's market, it's a deal-maker's market. And we're going to leave you with this final thought from our source. It's a direct, it's powerful, and it really sums up the whole situation. All the data suggests that this unique balance we're seeing in the Indianapolis market, well, it won't last forever. And the window to make your move, whether you're buying or selling, is right now.